I think we're going to go ahead and get started. I want to be conscious of everybody's time tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Katie Tanzillo. I am the principal here at St. Robert Bellarmine. We're going to start tonight. We'll start off with a prayer, and then we'll hear from some of our teachers. And then we'll open it up to questions. Welcome to those of you who are joining us. Like I did say, we are currently recording so that we can use it. If parents who signed up weren't able to attend, we can send them the recording. So if you do not want to be recorded, please turn your video off. So let's go ahead and get started. So here at St. Robert Bellarmine, we have our May crowning ceremony tomorrow. So May is the month of Mary, and so let us start off by saying the Hail Mary together. So let's put ourselves in the presence of the Lord. We pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee. Blessed art thou amongst women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. Amen. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All righty. So I'm just gonna say, hold on. I'm just so everybody knows, all of our newcomers, that we are recording. So if you don't want to be seen, go ahead and turn off your video if you do not want to be a part of the recording. And then Nora, if you can just message those families individually as they join on, that would be great. So thank you everyone for joining. Like I said before, my name is Katie Tanzillo. I am the principal here at St. Robert Bellarmine. This is my first year as the principal, and I had been here 2 years prior as the assistant principal. So I'm very familiar with the school and our happenings. Tonight, we have with us our preschool 3-year-old teacher, Nancy Belmonte, our pre-K 4-year-old teacher, Jan Brzezinski, and her teacher assistant, Kathy Ernst. And then unfortunately, our kindergarten teacher had a family emergency tonight, so she won't be able to join us, but I will be able to answer any questions and kind of go through a little bit of our kindergarten curriculum for those of you who are interested in kindergarten. So we will start off tonight with Nancy Belmonte. She is our preschool 3 teacher. So go ahead, Nancy.
Well, first of all, I'd like to welcome you all to our virtual open house this evening. I am Nancy Belmonte. I've been here for 3 years. I've taught a total of 12, and I've only taught either 3 or 4-year-olds. My credentials include I'm certified in elementary education, and I have a master's degree in early childhood, as well as an endorsement in special education. Our program is taught using themes, and we incorporate literacy, math, music and movement, socialization, science, and religion. We study a letter of the week. We do numbers of the month, so I usually pick 2 numbers and we focus on those 2 numbers. We review shapes and colors, and we also do a nursery rhyme of the month, as well as author studies throughout the month. In religion, we learn various prayers, and we focus on various Bible stories in which we do craft projects and sometimes even act out the stories. Our day-to-day schedule includes, with COVID this year, it's been a little different. The students, I meet them outside and their temperatures are taken, and then they get their hands sanitized, and then we walk into the classroom. Each child has their own seat, which has their name on it, that we sanitize every day at the end of the day. So when they come into the classroom, they sit down with their coats and their backpacks on, and we go around and we take their coats and backpacks and we hang them into their lockers. And then after that, we take everyone to the bathroom and we wash our hands thoroughly, and then come back into the classroom. And then what we do is table task time. So at the tables, there's activities for them to complete. So sometimes it involves a letter we're learning, a math activity, sometimes it's Play-Doh, sometimes we do something with fine motor skills, sometimes it's block building. Like we just finished a unit on insects. So like the other day I gave them these little insect manipulatives, and they had to like build a house for their insect. And then when everyone was done, we went around and we shared like how we built the house and what the house was for. After table task time, we usually go to a special. So they have a gym 3 times a week, and then we go to Spanish once a week, and we have art once a week. When they come back from gym, art and Spanish are in our classrooms. But after we come back from gym, we go back into the bathroom, use the bathroom and wash our hands. And then after Spanish and art, we also go into the bathroom to wash our hands, and we come back and we have snack. After snack, we go to circle time. And circle time is a time where I'm reading a story, introducing a new concept. We go over the calendar, and we talk about numbers and letters, and it's a time for them to kind of discuss different things. So we're doing that as a group. And then after circle time, we split up into center time. And like I said, this year has been a little bit differently done with things. So center time for us is a time for like socialization, and then a time for me to work with about 2 students on an activity. And then I have an aide as well that works with 2 students. So we divide them up into the classroom. This year I have 2 kitchens in the classroom because that's very popular, but at least then 2 or 3 students can be playing in the kitchen. And then I'll have some children playing with blocks together, and we kind of give them choices of things that they can do during that time. And then I'm usually working on something academically with them as well as my aide. After centers, then we move into music and movement time, and then I introduce religion, and then we kind of wrap up our day. With the nicer weather, we get to go to the learning garden at the end of the day, which they really love. It's an outside area for us that's fenced in, and it has some houses for them to play with. There's a little bridge, there's little like stepping stones that they can walk across, and a climbing apparatus. So that's always fun to do. When we come back from something like that, we go back into the bathroom to sanitize our hands again. And then we usually end the day with a story, or sometimes I have a projector in our classroom. So sometimes we'll do a song on the projector, or I'll do a cute little like ABC video with the letter that we're learning. And then we dismiss the morning students. They are dismissed, and then the full day students stay with me, and we have lunch. And then after lunch, they go into either we have a little playtime, or we do a story, and then we have nap time. Nap time is usually about an hour and a half. And then they wake up from nap time, and then we do more. It's more of a choice of what they want to do after rest time. So some of them will want to play with blocks. Some of them, I have a whiteboard in the classroom, so some of them want to draw on that. So it's more of a free choice at the end of the day, and then they dismiss to go home. I know for a lot of your children, it's their very first experience for school, and it can be a difficult transition. It's a new environment for them, and it's new faces for them, and sometimes it can be a little overwhelming. And I usually have some students who have a difficult time, and it's okay. And I work with the parents a lot if they are having a difficult time transitioning, but a lot of time I say we just have to give them time and be patient. We provide them with a lot of comfort when they come in. This year I had a little boy who would be upset on his days that he was attending school. And I work with the mom, and I asked her, like, what's his favorite things that he likes to do? And she's like, he loves trucks. So that was my plan then. So I always had trucks available for him to look at. And we talk about, like, when you come next time, which truck would you like to play with? And I'd always have it ready for him. If your child's having a hard time, I do my best to check in with you, like sending you an email and be like, they're fine, they settle down, they're playing, or they're working with something. Because I know I want to put your mind at ease as well, if your child is upset coming into school. But we work a lot with that. And overall, it's amazing how it takes time for that transition, but once they're used to it and they're used to the routine, they just come right in, and the parents are always like, they forgot about me now. They don't even turn back to say goodbye. And I'm always like, but that's a good thing. It's huge for them to do that. So I love working with the parents. I love that journey that we take, the whole year as well. So I hope to see you possibly in the fall.
Thank you, Mrs. Belmonte. Next, we're going to move into our pre-K4 teacher, Miss Jan Brzezinski, and then she also has her teacher assistant with her, Kathy Ernst.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here to talk with us tonight. In pre-K 4, we try to follow on from what Mrs. Belmonte does. I've been here for 3 years. Mrs. Kathy's been here for many, many years.
16.
16 years. So we're well aware of what the children need to be doing when they get to kindergarten. We try to have the children follow a nice routine in the morning. We do the calendar, we sing songs, we say prayers, all the normal things that Mrs. Belmonte said that they do. We just follow on doing the same kind of thing. We like to teach them how to cut nicely and to color nicely so that they'll be ready for kindergarten. The kindergarten teacher expects them to be able to say their alphabet, to be able to count to at least 20, and to be able to write their first names correctly. That means with a capital letter at the beginning and lowercase letters for the rest of the name. And we work on that during the whole year. We don't only work on saying the alphabet, we learn to recognize the letters, capital and small, and then we learn the sounds of the letters. We try to blend the sounds a little bit, and the children start to make their own words, which is really good at this time of year. They all, at this stage of the year, know their sounds of the letters very well, and they can usually tell me the name of a word that begins with that sound. They work on a little bit of memory words, not a lot, but some memory words, but we like them to be able to attack a word and be able to sound it out more than just remembering what it says. We do calendar and those kind of things in the morning. They learn the months of the year, the days of the week. And we do the seasons. We work on weather, lots of little projects to do with social studies and science. We might grow plants. This year we raised some butterflies and released them out in the learning garden, which was wonderful for the children. Lots of little projects that they do, a lot to do with the letters of the alphabet. We try to keep them active and concentrating on things so that they are ready to sit down and learn in kindergarten. Each month we have different themes going on, trying to do different themes from what they've done in Mrs. Belmonte's room. So in September, we have a different theme for each week of the month. We started this year with friendship, color, apples and fall, and each month it goes on from there with a different theme each week. Where we did the butterfly theme, we did insects, and we've done a lot to do with a farm lately. The afternoon, when we do have some children who go home at lunchtime, the ones who do stay, they do have activities outside, and they also have a little nap in the afternoon, not for very long, but a little bit. And they have lots of playtime. It's important for them to socialize and be with their friends. They really enjoy that. 3 times a week, we have gym. We have art once a week. We have Spanish once a week. And then usually on Mondays at the moment, when we don't have a special, we have the computers in the classroom, the iPads for them to use. And they like that a lot too. I think this year has been a little different because of the COVID. We do sanitize a lot. The children, just like Mrs. Belmonte said, they have their temperatures taken beforehand. They sanitize their hands when they come in, and they play with their own little box of toys or blocks on their tables. We don't mix them with other children. So we try and keep them pretty sanitized. During the day, they don't go to the bathroom quite as much as the 3-year-olds, but they do get times that we take them to the bathroom. We make sure they wash their hands well. We always wash our hands before and after we eat. They have a snack in the morning, and those who stay for lunch, we make sure that we wipe all the tables down lots of times during the day. Mrs. Kathy, do you want to say something?
No, we're just, we do offer different times. Some kids come 3 days a week, some kids come 4 days a week, some come 5, some come full days, some come half days. So we have a variety of schedules with our kids. So it takes us a little bit of time to figure out who's here on what days and stuff. But we do recommend that the kids in 4-year-old preschool come 3 days, at least 3 days a week, so that they can get ready for kindergarten.
Thank you. So we do have some questions, and as we said in the chat, we would answer them after. So let me scroll back up to see, and then teachers, if you can jump on in with these questions. So our school hours for preschool and pre-K are usually 8 to 2:50. Currently, right now, due to COVID and the way our guidelines are working with arrival, the students have been coming 8:30 to 2:55 or 3. So we have staggered arrival. My hope is to get us back to our 8 to 2:50, and then the half-day kids would leave at 11:30. We do offer before and after care for both preschool and pre-K. So that is an option. That is an additional fee if you choose to sign your child up for that. I did see something in there. Both preschool and pre-K students need to be potty trained in order to attend. We understand that accidents do happen, but they do, for the most part, need to be fully potty trained before attending. This year, our enrollment is based upon the days. So, Ms. Belmonte, what is the largest class size you have this year?
So on 2 days during week, I have 10 students. That's my largest days. On the other days, I have 8.
Yes, so that's our current enrollment, both pre-K and preschool. So both 3s and 4s, we can have up to 20 students in the class.
I think the most we have this year is 17 on any given day, but some days it's only 14 or 15.
Correct. Mrs. Belmonte or Mrs. Brzezinski, will you expand a little bit on what is on our assessments at the beginning of the year and what we assess the students on and how often we give those?
In the 4-year-olds, they're assessed 4 times a year. Once halfway through the year actually is for a report card, and then at the end of the year. And the other 2 times it's right before they have parent-teacher conferences. We ask them things to do with the alphabet, counting, colors, shapes,
Write their name.
to write their name, recognition of numbers, not only to count, but to actually look at a number and know what it is. And the same with the alphabet, not just saying the alphabet, but knowing what letters are. As the year goes on, we ask them more about the sounds, but it doesn't matter if they really don't know them. We work on it, but that's something that they really work on in kindergarten. But the more they know, the better.
I have a question. You're working on all of these phonics, and that's awesome. What if you encounter what you think is a child having an issue with the language in general, and you think maybe that they have something going on? Do you bring that up, or do you have an alternative plan? What would you do?
When you say a language problem, do you mean a non-English speaker or an English speaker?
No, an English speaker. Sorry, I'm fiddling with my headset. No, just if you encounter a child that's having a particularly hard time, do you just continue encouraging, or do you provide some kind of intervention?
We do have intervention, yes.
Okay.
But
yeah, Mrs. Belmonte, do you want to explain a little bit what you would do in that situation as well?
Sure. If we have concerns, we definitely address it with the parents, kind of get your input on things. There's something that we can refer your child to called Child Find, and it's through the CPS schools. I've had a few of my students assess through that, and they just do an assessment, and then if there's more of a concern, then they might ask for like a full evaluation on that child. And then from there, we get information to say if they need modifications or what's the next step for that child. Are you talking more about a speech issue?
Just in general behavior, language. I was just using that as a particular example that, they were having a hard time recognizing letters and whatnot. But if it becomes something that you think is problematic, you're saying that you have a evaluator from CPS come and they kind of create an IEP.
Yes, and it's more for the preschool age.
It's very different, I'm
It's
sure.
a little different, yes, it's very different. We don't have someone come to the school, but the lady who runs the program will let us know, like, there's certain libraries around here, like someone will meet you, or there's certain places that you can take your child for this assessment. And then they contact the teachers and we kind of get the results, and then we go from there to help your child.
Okay, I was just checking to make sure that there was something in place. Cool, thank you.
You're welcome.
I think the next question I see, are there bathrooms in the classroom? Unfortunately, we don't have bathrooms in the classroom. They are straight across the hall for them. So a teacher is always watching the students as they go to the bathrooms. There's a question, if the students do not nap during nap time, teachers, do you want to address how that is handled?
Yes. For the 3-year-olds, I do have a few. Well, I have one student this year that does not nap, but I've had a few in the past. We consider it quiet time. So I let them know they have to be quiet, sit quietly, and we have little mats for everybody. And after maybe about 30 minutes, if they're not napping, then usually I will bring something over to their mat. Maybe they'll do a puzzle, or they'll look at some books, or I'll give them something to color. And they're pretty good about it. And then they might get up a little bit earlier than everyone else and sit with me like at a table and doing something quiet. And I don't know if Ms. Brzezinski, I don't know if you want to address what you do with the 4-year-olds for nap.
The 4-year-olds, we ask that they lay quietly if they're not resting or sleeping. But we don't, sometimes if there's too many that aren't sleeping, we get up early and we let them come to their table and work on their, they all have a little bin with blocks in it. We do, but it's just mainly resting, just resting their arms, their legs, their body. And we tell them that they do not have to fall asleep, so.
But they do have, some of them they bring a stuffed animal or something from home that they can cuddle. So a lot of them do go to sleep.
Yes. There was a question about the specials for our students. So we create a building schedule every year. And so the days of the specials change depending on the rest of the school and how they are laid out. So currently right now, they have gym 3 times a week, Spanish once a week, and art once a week. Those are on different days for both the pre-K and the preschool students. And so that has the potential to change for next year as well, depending on the days. Currently, there are no fundraising requirements. That's part of the tuition is a fundraiser fee. And then depending on how many days you attend, yes, depending on how many days you attend is what that fee would be. So it would either be a $300 or a $425 fee. So I hope that answers those questions. What hours for before and after care? So our before care starts at 7 a.m. and our after care ends at 6 p.m. So it sounds like there's more questions on specials. Mrs. Belmonte, do you want to tell everybody your special schedule, and then we'll tell the 4 special schedule?
Sure. So the 3-year-old preschoolers attend gym 3 times a week for a half hour. And then our Spanish teacher comes in once a week for a half hour. And then we have art once a week in our classroom for a half hour.
What
All
days
of
of the week do you have those?
Oh, what days? So we have gym on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And then I have Spanish on Tuesdays and art is on Thursdays. Mondays, we don't have a special, but during that time, like Ms. Brzezinski said, sometimes I'll bring iPads in or we'll do a story and a project with the story. So we kind of incorporate other things during that specials time.
The specials in the 4-year-olds, we have gym on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday for half an hour each time. We have art on Thursday for half an hour, and we have Spanish on Friday for half an hour. And like I said, on Mondays, we usually bring the iPads in for the children to use. There are lots of educational games on them.
Yes. And then, so I think there's additional questions about the schedule. So if you choose 3 days a week, then you are committing, say you pick Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, that is your schedule for the year. And you will decide, are you half day or full days? So we can't change it from week to week, that it would be your set schedule for the year. But we are flexible in which the days you can pick. So one student might be, like I said, Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Another student might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday. That is up to you as a family.
We also offer you to add days if that particular day is not full. We offer you to add an extra day. So if you come 3 days a week and you feel like your child needs 4 days or 5 days, you can add another day, but the specific day has to be, there has to be a space available in that day.
Correct. And then the half days is only offered in the morning. We do not have a half day in the afternoon.
Most of our learning is done in the morning, so it's important for the children to be there in the morning rather than the afternoon.
Yes. If the teachers could answer this, in what ways does SRB ensure it is being inclusive of all students of all races and cultures? So can you, Mrs. Belmonte, why don't you go ahead and start with how you are inclusive within your classroom?
We just talk about we're all friends. We show different diversities as well. You know, I never prohibit them however they want to decorate things or how they want to do things. But at this age, I feel like they're all friendly with one another. They're not, I never find issues with anything like that in the classroom.
The 4-year-olds, they don't even notice that anyone's different from anybody else, and nor do I. So they're all equals as far as I'm concerned, and everybody is expected to treat everybody else nicely.
Mhm.
We always say treat other people the way you want to be treated, and they do. So we don't have any problems at all. I don't think they even notice there's any difference.
It also, within the books that we use within the classrooms, ensuring that it's representative of all of our students in the classroom is a big part of it, and any of those materials as well. So that is something that within the whole school, we ensure that we have more representation to show inclusivity. Do pre-K 4 students go to Mass? Actually, this year they have not gone to Mass. In years past, they have gone to full Mass. Our weekly ones, they are usually about a half hour to start to get them used to attending Mass. And that is one thing I would say I personally miss, because at our Masses, usually we have our seniors who attend and they start to create these great connections. And then our preschool and pre-K students will make bookmarks or little cards for them. And with COVID this year, that's something we haven't been able to do, but it's this awesome partnership that is created. The whole class usually goes, but this year it has not happened as much.
I think the same thing is, excuse me, the same thing for prayer partners. We haven't been able to get together with our prayer partners this year, and that's something that all the children love. And I'm sure we'll get back to it eventually when all this is over.
Exactly. And so our prayer partners are different grade levels. So one group has 6th graders, and then the 4s have 4th graders, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And they
4th.
come, and in the past they would read to each other and just form friendships. The prayer partners would help them at Mass if they would attend with them. So it was this awesome way of seeing different age levels all work together. What do you guys do when a child is having a tantrum or upset?
In my classroom, sometimes we need to just give them space, because I think sometimes as we approach, they get a little bit more upset. And we just kind of reassure them, like, it's okay, let's talk about this. We usually have a little area where it's a little bit more quiet. And then once they settle down, then we can talk to them about it. And I always say, like, they're 3. And a lot of times when it makes them upset, we would look at it as like, it's something that they shouldn't be upset of. Because they're 3 though, I have to think about what they're thinking about. So it could be someone took a toy or something happened, and it's just kind of giving them the words too to use to express those feelings. And we work with them through that time.
Right. So there is a question, will we hear more about Kay? And I apologize, we jumped into the questions, and I can definitely share more about our kindergarten program. So I will do that right now. So within our kindergarten program, our current math program we use is called Ready Math. It is a program that we adopted this year, and it really works on counting, operations, algebraic thinking, number and operations, and base 10, measurement and data, and geometry. So the students really start to look at addition, subtracting, composing and decomposing numbers up to 19. And they have a student workbook that they work through. For us, for the math program, it's very much problem solving, word problems, and hands-on, and looking at how you do math. Not everybody can do math the same way, so looking at it in different ways. Our reading program for kindergarten is Super Kids, which has a strong phonics component, and it has activities, practice books for the students to complete, and they work on comprehension skills, comparing, contrasting, sequencing, using context clues, decoding, encoding words. And the cool thing about this program is it is from kindergarten to 2nd grade, and they have characters throughout the reading series that they introduce that they stick with them up until 2nd grade. So the students are familiar with it and really understand what to do. And then they work on their rhyming, comprehension, building words. And I will say our kindergarten students are doing an awesome job at reading, understanding the reading fundamentals. And our kindergarten teacher does a great job in ensuring that the students are prepared and are reading within kindergarten. They also work on a handwriting piece. We use the Zahner Blauser handwriting book, How to Hold a Pencil Correctly, which is some of that has started to form within our preschool 3 and our 4-year-old program, but how to correctly do uppercase, lowercase, working on writing sentences for some of the students, adding more detail within their sentences, pieces, so things like that. Our science program, we are currently looking at a new science program for next year that is focused on hands-on experiments, allowing for an inquiry stance, so the students to engage and draw conclusions on their own. And the teacher does a lot of this during centers, which allows her to have different centers set up amongst the room, or different activities for the students to do. So there's definitely an academic piece. There are some times where the students can have building and inventing certain types of games or Legos and blocks that are built in with those centers, but also including that academic piece. They do have outdoor recess time. They usually have a break in the morning, and they have lunch. Our kindergartners do take a little bit of a rest as well. It is, I think, adjustment from pre-K to kindergarten just because of the heightened academics as they move into kindergarten and preparing them for 1st grade. So I hope that helps answers a little more of your questions about kindergarten. If you are a kindergarten prospective parent and want to know more, we can definitely get you some more answers. Or if you want to come in for a tour, we can try to see if our kindergarten teacher will be available to talk to you. And then a question was just, what do students do in the before or after? It's more of a free play right now. The students bring in their own activities or things to play with during before or after care. We do have the gym, which they can use the gym, or they can go outside, again, ensuring that this is done safely within our COVID guidelines. So one of the questions is, what does this space look like for the fall So as I'm sure you're aware, with guidelines changing within our current pandemic and our current state, we are planning to, for the fall, that it will continue to maintain distance, to have students use their own materials. Mrs. Belmonte, would you mind showing your screen so that parents can see how your classroom is currently set up?
No, I can do that. So this year, there's only 2 students at each table. So I have several tables in the classroom this year. And then there's a partition to separate them. So I can just turn it around and see if you can see. Can you see that, Katie?
Yeah.
Okay. So we just have our table set up. I have a shelf and I covered it this year so that they're not just taking things out, where before it was never covered and they had choices of what they could take from there. And underneath there are toys that we use, and anything that's taken out, we sanitize all the time as well before it's put back. And then each child has their own like supply box for their markers, crayons, and we have individual toys for them to play with as well. And then I'll just walk around to show you other parts of my class. So we have a calendar, and this is our library corner. So a lot of times we read a book and we do a project with that. Here's where I do like our big whiteboard, and a lot of our group time is here. Here's our religion board, and we're learning about Mary. So we have a rosary up there with Mary. We made sunflowers. And then each child has their own locker as well with their names on it. And then just more tables and things.
So hopefully, and then our pre-K4 classroom is set up similarly. Their tables are social distanced as well, and then they can show you, they have their tables separated. There's only 2 students per table, and then they have a place for circle time. They have mats on the floor that the students would sit at in order to maintain their distance. So I hope that gives you guys a better visual of how our classrooms are set up. Let's see, what kind of documentation do you keep to track development over the years? So we hold on to their assessments so that we can keep track of how they have grown throughout the year. And all of that does get sent home as well, so parents are able to keep track of that.
What do you use to assess them?
What do we use to assess them? The teachers, do you want to go ahead?
So, Kathy or Ms. Ernst is holding it up. So we just have an assessment sheet and we use manipulatives and things. So on there it says like, uppercase letter recognition. This is for my class. Color, shapes, can they recognize numbers, 1 to 10? So it's a lot of manipulatives that we're using, and we do it 4 times a year. So you see the progress, because as they hit those goals, we highlight it. And then every time we assess, we're using a different color highlighter. So you're seeing the growth as they go. And then those assessments and their progress reports then are put in a folder with some of their work samples. And then I send that to the 4-year-old class. And then the 4-year-old class, they provide their assessment, and then that all goes to kindergarten. So you'll see the progress of that child.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And then our kindergarten students have assessments as well. It is done more through the programs we use. So our Super Kids has an assessment that's done in the beginning of the year. And then our math program, our K through 8 students are on, they do a computer-based diagnostic testing 3 times a year. So it's done in the beginning of the year, in the middle of the year, and the end of the school year.
Is that like teaching strategies?
And it's based off of our standards.
Oh, okay.
So then they use this program to give us their progress of how they have developed throughout the year. So again, it's all based off of the students, where the students stand. And then it also gives us ways to help differentiate. And then we have the program then allows the students to do online lessons that is differentiated to each of the students. Does that make sense? So that is only for our K through 8. So our preschool and pre-K programs are different. Is there food served? So currently with COVID, we have not been having hot lunches, but if the preschool and pre-K programs do say they would be offered hot lunch typically. So is there structure or curriculum in the 3s and 2s also? So we only have 3s. The 2s is a tiny top program that we offer that just introduces the students to schools. So it is all theme based, but it's based off of our early childhood standards through the Archdiocese. So we do have an academic portion in that play portion as well. Are the age eligibility requirements very strict? Example, a summer-born 5-year-old 4. So for kindergarten, they are very strict. Your child has to be 5 entering by September 1st in order to enter into kindergarten. So if you would like to schedule a tour to see the kindergarten room or to see the school, Kathy Ernst, she is on the call. We can set up a time to do that. We are only offering tours right now after school, unfortunately, because of the COVID protocols. But anybody is welcome. You can reach out, and then Nora, can you please put her email in the chat? So if you would like to schedule a tour, you can reach out directly to her. And then I think that, yes.
Katie, I will be sending everybody an email with my information, my contact information. And then if they want to schedule a tour, and we normally give out a folder that has all the information that we talked about today. And it has tuition schedule and it has a registration form in it. So I will be contacting everybody today and give out my information, and then they can contact us for a tour or whatever they want to do. If they just want the information.
Is there anything that I did not, that I missed, or are there any additional questions that you may have?
I had a question about like the diversity of the student body that you skipped.
Okay, so we have students from all different types of background. We have students who are African American, Latino, white. So that seems to make up a good portion of our population within our school. So I hope, does that help answer what you're looking for?
I just wanted to know what, like, you know, if it was kind of a lot of the CPS schools are a little bit not diverse. So I was just wanted to know if you had a variety, like, you know, if you were able to pull in.
I don't have our stats off the top of my head.
No, stats are not necessary. Just wanted to, you know, a general idea.
Yes.
Community.
So I would say that's a good chunk of our community. We,
Excuse me, we also have children from the Philippines, don't forget too.
yes,
Quite a few.
yes.
Will that be happening during COVID?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Will it be happening during COVID where international students are coming?
No, we don't have any international. We have students, that's their background, where their parents have come from.
Oh, okay. I didn't know because you work with the church if it was like for a mission or something that you kind of like co-teach or something. Just checking.
No. Does anybody have anything else? Okay. So if you don't have anything, thank you so much for joining us today. You can always reach out to myself if you have any additional questions. Kathy Ernst is usually our point of contact. If you are interested in registering, there is information on our website on how to register. You can also contact our school office if you have any questions about what forms and what exactly needs to be turned in. It is a $200 registration fee. And like we said, within the preschool and pre-K program, you can pick and choose your day, half day, full day. So if that is something you're interested in, I would encourage you to get in your registration forms as soon as possible so we can ensure that we have a spot and we can hold a spot for your child for next year. So thank you everybody for attending today. If you have any questions, let me know. There is one question: how many kids are in the kindergarten classroom? I believe this year we have 22. Next year we're looking right around the same number. How much space is available in the threes? We still have some space available. I don't know the exact number off the top of my head, but I know there is still availability. And same with the fours, there's still availability there. So thank you everybody for your time tonight. And again, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions, something we didn't answer, if there's something you forgot or just thought of later, just let us know and we're happy to help. So we hope to see you all in the fall. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you.